Welcome to Raising the Bar, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on the country's most successful leaders and how they elevate their business and their teams. Please welcome our host, Alison DePauli.
Welcome, everyone. I am excited to have you at another episode of Raising the Bar with Alison DePauli. And today it is such a pleasure to have my very dear friend, Ed Howie, with us, the CEO of BTY, Gusto, and many other things. And we are going to talk about stewardship, WOOO, what WOOO is, and joy, which is missing. So welcome, Ed.
Thank you, Alison. Good to see you via Zoom.
Yes.
And I usually see you like sweating.
Yes, you tried to kill me the other week.
I know. It's good to do indoor cycling.
It is very good. Those hills are very good lessons for business, I think.
Exactly.
So, and I think one of the skills that you bring to your maybe third or fourth job as spin instructor is teaching about accountability and gauging your momentum and just not stopping and rest. And I think we miss all of those things in our everyday, and they all go to stewardship of yourself.
Well, it's true. It does. You know, it's interesting. So wanted to clarify, I am CEO or president founder of BTY Creative.
Yes.
I'm a partner in Gusto, which is a chain of fast casual restaurants, incredible fast casual brand in Atlanta, opening our 8th location tomorrow. Nate Hibble is the founder and creator of that. Been fortunate to work with him for over 8 years. So it is kind of over 10 years, actually. It is really cool that, so BTY Creative, we're a marketing and branding firm. That's our primary role. We inspire brands to sell more. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So it's been fun to be a part of creating a physical brand while we're helping our clients create brands. So that's been kind of cool. But yeah, so yeah, life was full, as you shared, in addition to like commerce and business, teach indoor cycling, which you are a mighty warrior. But it's interesting that you talk about stewardship. So like, have been teaching indoor cycling for, as you know, like almost 7 years, probably about 1,200 classes. And the class that we frequent together often is a hill class, which is at 7 a.m. on Friday mornings. It's a 50-minute ride where for 42 minutes we're climbing nonstop. And it really has, for me, and I know for you, it really has become really an enabler, but also an analogy of life. It's like, okay, sometimes you've got to just like suck it up and work harder. Sometimes you need to sit down and go a little more slowly. But all the time you got to breathe, and you got to breathe intentionally. And I have found that I've been an official entrepreneur, a non-corporate employee for 18 years. And I found that it is very difficult for me to be effective when I'm not breathing.
Yes, you might.
Sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
And you know, it's amazing the things that take our breath away as an entrepreneur. I mean, a large batch of payroll going out, the EFT, you know, no offense to the large insurance expenses that we invest, but you know, as you know, I'm fully committed to my team. We cover 100% of single health insurance coverage, and I know
you are my only client that does.
Are you serious?
No, the only one. And you ask different questions of me than anybody else does. And my conversations with you are different. I would never have a renewal conversation with anybody else like the one that you and I had.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's kind of cool. That's actually very cool.
There is care and attention.
Make sure my team knows that.
I do.
Yeah.
But care and attention for humans. And we talk about that all the time, that, you know, this is very personal to people. It's not just personal to you, and it's not just money, right? It's care of humans.
Yeah. Care. And honestly, part of it is care, but I think also it goes to peace of mind, because our health is so concerning and is so unknown. I mean, talk about the last 18 months, right? And so it's kind of goes back to that whole issue of breathing, is that, you know, how much do we want to share on this episode? I have struggled all my life with calming my mind and becoming an entrepreneur fully, like actually stepping into the entrepreneur that I was, because I tried to be a corporate employee for 12, 13 years, which I imagine there's some people in your world the same.
Yes.
You know, stepping into entrepreneur is not necessarily is not a formula for peace, because rarely do we just get to walk in, punch the clock and walk out, you know? And most of us probably didn't do that as employees either. But when we have the full responsibility, the full care of our people, our customers, our brands, our enterprise, our assets, all that, our responsibility, that can take your breath away. And so what someone helped me discover about going on 3 years ago is actually this word right here on this My Intent bracelet. And the word is stewardship. And the way I define stewardship is doing all you can with what you have today. And my type A personality, even though I'm a fun type A, my type A personality is all about doing all. And then it's my competitiveness is doing all I can. And then doing all I can with what I have. I do like really believe that we are called to like reproduce, that we were called to do more with, but the most important word that I've adopted is doing all I can with what I have today. Because I'm not going to do all I possibly can in life today. So one of the ways I find my breath is like literally figuring out the to-do list, where you'll see, you know, you're a big yellow right there, but it's like, okay, I've got a ton of stuff to do today, but what are the things I must do today that are going to help me do all I can with everything else? So cycling is very much like that. Is I've got 50 minutes to work out. We got 42 minutes to climb. And, you know, sometimes we run to the end and sometimes we roll and we never coast, but sometimes we roll more slowly into the end. And that's what we have to do in life.
Yes. And I think that balance is key. I have this, nobody can read this, but it literally says, what is the ultimate destination? What is the very next baby step that I can take to get there? And how do I want to be? So it's stuck on my monitor. It's very high tech, but it helps focus the to-do list every day. What moves the needle?
Well, you know, I'm actually, I think you know this, but I don't drink. I stopped drinking 15 years ago on September 28th. And
coming up,
one of the greatest, there have been multiple blessings of choosing to remove alcohol from my life. But one of the greatest blessings was recognizing that all I have to figure out every day is the next right thing. My mind can jump ahead to, okay, how much is that insurance we're paying on an annual basis? Hey. I know, but seriously, I could look at it as the almost six figures, or I could look at it as what what is the cash flow demand on a monthly basis?
Correct.
You know, and that's really what I have to manage. It ends up to be a big figure, but it's just like with landing clients. If you try to figure out, if you're focusing on trying to get 5 clients, you're not going to be able to get that one client because you're focusing on trying to get 5.
Correct.
And so I love the mind we share as entrepreneurs, because it is complex and oftentimes we don't have other people to talk to. So that's why I like getting to do what I do.
You know, CEO jobs, I don't care if you're the CEO of 3 or 100 or 1,000 or 100,000. It's lonely. There isn't anybody, you know, that you can talk to in your organization. You need to talk to somebody else. And what I found is people always say, well, what are your other clients doing? What's this? Who's doing this? What's doing that? And because people, they don't, and you know, what I do is so specific, there isn't anybody else to talk to.
Yeah.
Great. So what are other people doing? So that is the goal of this show. What are other people doing? And I think stewardship is something that people think about, but they don't always apply it to every area of their business. And you can. It changes how you think about things.
It does. You know, I heard someone speak back in May, and you know, when I started my business 18 years ago, my business plan was not super sophisticated. It was one page. And it was based on my 5 core strengths, which are ideation, strategic, winning others over, connectedness, and positivity. I recognized that there were companies that needed access to that. And so I took my salary at HEB corporate and divided it by my annual salary divide 12, and then kind of figured out how much could I talk someone into spending money on me on a monthly basis to consult. And then I took that number and divided it to figure out how many clients I needed within 3 months before we had to burn through another level of savings. And that's what we did.
I think a lot of people start that way. And I think a lot of people continue that way.
Yeah. We're navigating past that era finally, but really it was about a situation that what is it that I need to do to be able to shift into this world? But then what I realized in getting into it is that, we believe in branding, so we believe in differentiation, but like very few companies other than Amazon can truly like serve the entire world, it seems, the universe. And so I don't have to be the only person doing it. I have to be doing what we do the best we can for enough people to be able to be a steward of the enterprise and opportunity we're given.
How often do you have this conversation with your clients? Because what you do is teaching them to talk to people. They can't talk to everybody either.
Right. So, it is formative in the initial conversation, and it has to be a baseline of, it has to be a baseline of really all we do, because we're marketing and branding. Okay. And so while everyone wants a little neat scorecard that says, I got this many clicks for this spend on advertising, and some brands support that better than others, or I ran this TV ad and I got this, or whatever it may be, or I'm paying this person X $1,000 to do my social media. There's not, as there's not a cause and a direct linear cause and effect between marketing activity. It is multiplicative. I can tell you, the less you market, the less you're going to sell, unless your brand is so powerful that it sells itself through your customers. Because frankly, we one of our basic brand principles is that they don't know you have it, they don't know to buy it. So Allison, I would suggest with your book of business, how many people have rejected you versus how many people have chosen you? If that number is like 85%, you can assume that you talk to another 100 people, you get 85 out of 100. So most of us, the reason our sales are lower is we're not talking to enough people. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that.
Now, if you have a 15% acceptance rate, that means you got to talk to a lot of people, or you got to whittle down. So what we really try to help our clients understand is, why are you in business? What is your why? Now, that sounds like the perfect marketing question, but like literally, a lot of times we deal primarily with privately held companies. We deal primarily, actually, we don't work with any publicly held companies right now. We haven't traditionally. We typically work for entrepreneurs, and that entrepreneur meaning is typically the founder or the key leader who has either generational responsibility or has acquired the brand, but it's a privately held company. Okay.
Yep.
And so talking to me at 54 and what I want to accomplish in my business, my enterprise, and what I wanted to accomplish at 45 and what I want to accomplish at 60,
all different.
Similar theme, similar purpose, different application. And so I would suggest that if you're the business leader, whether publicly held or privately held, you've got personal objectives that you want to accomplish. How do they align with the business structure that your enterprise allows? And then relative to marketing branding, are you telling enough people about how well you do it or what you can do for them? And so, it's really what should drive your marketing plan is what you, not how much sales you want. That's sometimes the easiest answer. It's like, what do you want to build or create? And it comes back to, are you being a good steward? It is not defined on how big you are. It is, how well is this enterprise fulfilling the purpose of what it could?
We found that we ask that of our best clients. What is the goal? Tell me what the goal of this budget is, and we'll work backwards from that goal. And some people look at us like we have lost our minds.
Yeah.
They're not the right person for us. Can we help them? Probably, but same old, same old. We can do it, but it's not really what we do. I always get some version of, look, we do this. We pay a lot. We're overpaying. It sucks. Nobody likes it. Can you fix that? Yeah, we can. So, but why? Why? Because we need it to work for people. We need to take care of people. It's a big budget item. We need to be responsible to that budget item. It's all of those answers. And I think that people don't always ask those questions in every other area of their business also. Right? Why are we selling this? Why do we do this? Right. And I think just a moment to step back is incredibly enlightening.
Well, it helps because it then goes back to you defining, did you do all you could today?
Yep.
Now, with what you had today, and frankly, where I am at 54 is like, am I doing all I can today to ensure that this enterprise is even more stable 6 months, a year, 3-5 years from now? And not only creating my net worth, but enabling my team's net worth. And it's really cool because it's not about building to sell, which we may sell to them, who knows? But it's really about, can we, with the talent we have, with the resources we have, are we serving as many people as effectively as we could? And how can we do that in our case without having to add exponential employees? It's like, how can we serve more people without having to have the same ratio to customers to people that we do right now? Because none of us want to work for a large 100-person company.
You all work for a small firm for a reason.
That's right. Exactly right.
And you also hire for one of your hiring markers is very interesting. It's about spending the day with somebody.
Yes. Yeah. It's I guess I should write a book just on this. Basically, I believe the ultimate hiring question to ask before you hire anyone is, if they were stranded by themselves and had to spend the entire Thanksgiving day with you and your family around your table and on your couch watching football, would you enjoy the day? Because I got to tell you, no offense to some previous employees, but didn't ask that question with every single one we've hired.
Yep.
And it hasn't served us or our team well. Now, I'll tell you, I can genuinely say that every single person on my team right now, and most recently, thrilled to have them in our house.
And that is the last question. That is not the skills question. That is not the personality question. All of those things still have to be in place. It's not about being friends.
Oh yeah, man, we're like touching all those worlds. So you got to have competency. Mm-hmm. You've got to have capacity. Those are the two things that keep the conversation going, but you have to have compatibility. Because I got to tell you, I've worked in environments where the human near me has been competent and they've been quite capable. They had tremendous capacity. But compatibility, don't enjoy them. And I mean, I guess if you're in a cubicle on Zoom from your home and there's no interaction, that's your company. God bless you. That's not our company. Okay. And we believe the culture of our brand is what represents the culture of our byproduct, our service,
everything.
And exactly. And so it's kind of funny, if you don't want to spend much time with them, do you think your clients want to spend much time with them? I mean, you've talked to that person on the customer helpline and and so that's essential. And frankly, that's why I want to invest in my team, because I don't want them, if they love being here, they're going to do better work, but also I want them to be here until they retire, if that's the right thing for them and for us, which is really my goal.
And I think that's an important thing too, is if it's the right thing for them. And, I think so many people think, well, I don't want to invest in training and I don't want to invest in resources because they're going to leave. Well, ultimately everybody's going to leave in some capacity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the more you invest, and I think it's the Disney thing, right? Our ultimate client is not the customer, it's the employee.
Yeah. Well, we are stewards of our employees first and foremost.
Yes.
I don't mean parental crap and that kind of stuff, but I mean, they have chosen what I say on every single anniversary or birthday card that I write to my team members. Thank you for choosing us. Because when I'm reminding them, they're here because they chose to be here. They don't like it. Part of me, get your ass out the door. You know what I mean? That people seem to think my boss is making me come to work. That is bullshit. And I never cuss. You chose to come to work. Don't want the job? Find another one. And it's kind of funny. I'm a loving guy, but I'm really pretty much black and white with that. But you choose to show up today, but you better show up. Right. Yes. And we don't get paid for attendance here. So.
Which takes us to WOOO, which is your other. WOOO.
Okay, so WOOO. So WOOO traditionally has meant winning others over, which actually is one of my 5 core strengths.
Yep.
And what I realized in all my years of marketing and branding, because as I was with Chick-fil-A for 17 years, pretty powerful brand, pretty powerful culture, tremendous reach, not perfect, but contrary to what some people believe, I believe still well-intended.
Yes. I believe
definitely own a specific mind share, and the way they have toggled and reimagined during COVID to serve as many people as they are through drive-through, amazing. Okay.
Yep.
What I learned at Chick-fil-A was the best brand, the best marketing has to start with a great operation. Okay. So you can tell the story, but the story does not translate into the experience the customer gets. You're lying. You're spending money to lie to the public, because they're not going to go, oh my gosh, maybe it's going to be better next day. No, it's like, I didn't get what you told me I was going to get. Okay. So don't lie. All right. So WOOO is based on the principle. It's actually 3 O's, W3, 3 O's, winning others over and over. What happens is, in the chase for that client, and you can do it, I can do it. Someone who's selling $3 cups of soda, $24 cups of t-shirts, or multi-$1,000 insurance plans. Sorry.
Come on now. It's not cracking the insurance industry day.
It is a reality.
I'm trying to fix this one employer at a time.
I know it is an investment. But anyway, what I'm saying is, no matter what your ticket average is that we get so focused on getting the next customer, we forget about the customers we have.
Yes. And our industry is the best at that.
Right. It's like, oh my gosh, got it signed, renewed, re-up. Who's my next target? I'll get there next year. And so what happens is we forget about that every single experience that happens between the brand and the customer, and frankly, the things that lead up to it and the things that follow after it, those are all things that are what creates the total score that your customers are keeping for you. Okay. Yeah. So if I was in a meeting with my board and I needed a quick answer and I texted your team and I never got a response, no matter how much the ROI is on our relationship and that I feel totally trusted, confident, that's like a poo. Yeah. Okay. Now, some customers are totally irrational and think everything's gonna be perfect. I mean, if you run a business, you know that's not the case. But what happens is we're constantly keeping score of each other. Mm-hmm. And every single touch point is a woo or a poo. And I mean, it's true though. Think about it. It is. Think about how many times you've gotten upset with a service provider because of some functional operational execution that was amiss. Now, I hope people look for patterns and like do a, grade on a curve, but some people don't. Yep. You could be a loyal customer. I mean, I literally had someone during the whole mask gate stuff. I've spent so many $1,000s with Lululemon, but they're making me wear a mask, so I'm never going to buy from them again. Okay. One, customer's choice, whatever. We're not going to go down the whole political road. Okay. But that situation had to be pretty passionate to them to erase all the goodwill. Now, I personally believe customers like that sneak back in 3 to 6 months later because they realized it was an emotional response. But if you go to the same restaurant and every single time you go, the salad gets smaller, and the cut of steak says 8 ounce, but it looks like 6. Yep. That pattern, you're gonna get. So everything we do with our customer either creates woo or creates poo, and no one wants poo. And so the best branding, I said it was operation. And so we as business leaders better be very aware of every single touch point that contributes to the overall relationship with our brand. And we got to manage it beyond the contract or the negotiation of the price point. And so that's what WOOO. I'm actually writing a book, Woo Not Poo, will be out next year. Yep. Book 1. And we talk a lot about it on how we grow a brand, our YouTube channel. And there's several episodes on there on YouTube.
I have a friend she owns a business that does business process, right? So she'll come in and straight your process. And she says one of the very first things she says is, the first sale is a sale, but every other sale comes from operations.
Yep, it does.
And we forget that. And in our industry, we've just kicked that out the window. Never mind, it's not even in the building. Yeah. So, absolutely. And which brings me to joy. Now that we've talked about poo, let's talk about joy.
We talked about stewardship. We talked about poo. No one wants poo, everyone wants woo. So it all wraps around what I believe is lacking in the world. And the only way there's going to be more is for us to create more of it. Okay. Just like WOOO, creating
Yep.
joy. And that is, and so what I get asked a lot of time is, so my nickname is Joy Beast. And what I get asked often is, well, what do you mean by joy? So let me tell you, the best way I define joy is, let me tell you what it's not. Joy is not a panacea. Okay. Joy is not paradise on earth. Joy is not even happiness. To me, joy is peace of mind in my current situation. Okay.
Okay.
It is peace of mind. Now, that joy sometimes can be very flamboyant. It can be very expressive. And sometimes it could be like incredibly emotive, but the most silent thing in the world. Okay. So it's not an emotional reaction, but joy is being at peace. Kind of goes back to what I said earlier, that I have the capacity, the resources, I have the regard to be able to figure out what the next right thing is.
Yep.
Because it's very hard for me to be joyful when I'm worried about, oh my gosh, well, if I commit to this insurance plan, what if this happens in July of next year? I mean, literally, what if I'm going to lose 25% of my sales third quarter of 2020? It happened. We're still here.
Yep.
You know, we still paid for insurance. We still paid salary. We still, you know, all of that. So I can like live 9 months out. And I'm not saying I'm being reckless. Okay. I'm being aware, but in my present moment, do I have peace of mind? And that peace of mind is not conditional. That peace of mind is, you know, call them cliches. I don't know. Maybe you like it. Maybe you don't. Sorry if you don't. But like this whole principle of peace of mind also comes around that stewardship is kind of grounded in this principle that I'm enough. Okay. That I am capable of either figuring it out or finding the people to help me figure out what I need to do to steward this business, to steward my company, my employees, my team, the clients, business enterprise, our vision for the future.
Everything.
Okay. And so this peace of mind, I mean, you have met people who are in a moment of anxiety, and you've met people that are in a moment of peace. And I believe that we are called to be peaceful beings. Personally, I believe this is how we're ultimately created. And there's a whole factor on love there. But when we lead with love versus lead with competition or comparison, that it's amazing what happens when love and kindness are our first step forward. That creates joy. And so what I believe is that if I do my best to be more joyful and share that and reflect that with others, then you're going to be more joyful.
And I'm going to take that to the next
more
person.
joyful is the whole Fabergé principle. If you're old enough, and they told
Yep.
two friends, and so on and so on. And so my ultimate business plan is to inspire a million joys.
That is my favorite thing about the many, 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 many very practical things you have told me and taught me. But that is, to me, that's scarcity and abundance, right? Like there's enough. It's all right. There's enough. Maybe a little sausage making today. It's okay. It's enough.
Right.
So
and the driving factors. Now I want to make money and I want to grow this enterprise. Okay. Because I want my employees to believe they have a better life because they chose me. Okay. I mean, really, that they look back 5 years now, whether they're here 5 years from now or not, wanting to be, is they go, you know what? My life is better because I was part of BTY Creative. Okay.
Yes.
Or part of How You Grow Brand. So the deal though is that it's also because I know what's in your head and your heart, and you know what's in mine. And it's not because we know each other. It's because we're business leaders.
correct.
The isolation, the doubt, the imposter syndrome, which I really hate that phrase, but it is real. You know, where we are our own worst enemy.
Yep.
The cancer of comparison that, you know, our industry is gauged by the number of employees we have. And I'm going to throw one more insurance joke. I know that makes you happy to have more headcount, but sorry, I had to do that. But you know, it's so funny. Why are you ranking a creative services brand building, sales building agency in the Business Journal by the number of employees you have?
I will ask the same question about my industry.
Exactly.
What we do is not based on the size that we are. We have all the resources that people need. We just think differently.
That's right.
And if you want that, that's great. And if you don't, that's okay.
That's right. That's right. because there's enough to go around. There really is enough to go around. Maybe not enough employees right now, but there's enough to go around.
I will agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so I decided as I'm keynoting, I'm writing a book. We've got BTY Creative as our core foundation of the enterprise, our direct services to clients, is that my heart and passion is entrepreneurs and business leaders. And basically, if spending a little time with me can like share some joy, then you may be more joyful with the next customer you talk to, or the next team member you talk to, or the next investor you talk to. And that's going to spread. And that's good.
Yep. And I think that is the most important thing that you said today. Be joyful, spread the joy, do some good.
That's right. Because, my hashtag, my phrase, where my mantra, which started, is joy begets joy.
Yep.
And begets means basically procreates. Okay. And so, I mean, what do you want your legacy to be? That you created anxiety for those around you? And I understand anxiety. I understand mental health. I'm not disregarding.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing. What I'm saying is intentionally trying to be more joyful, because this doesn't happen naturally. It does not happen naturally.
Nope. And that is that third question that I have. How do I want to be? I want to be joyful.
Yep. That's right.
And spread that and make people comfortable and happy in their decisions. And it just comes back to you.
Well, and what's cool is you and I do not have the same personality, but we can have the same influence. We have a similar influence, but you're doing it with what you've got, and I'm doing it with what I've got, which comes back to stewardship, which is frankly, I want to be regarded as a good and faithful steward of what's been entrusted to me. So.
And I think that many business leaders, particularly those that you serve, I serve a similar market. Owner is still involved, might be a generational owner, but they know who people are. They care about their communities, their employment community, their business community, their community in general. They mostly want to be good stewards, and they don't like when they're not.
Exactly.
Maybe it doesn't always get expressed that way.
Yeah, I don't think most people go, I want to create this business enterprise and be bad at it.
Exactly.
Now there's some suspect people, okay, but that's not who we deal with. You know what I mean, right?
Exactly. So, well, I think we will wrap it there, and we will see what we can do about inspiring a million joys. I'm so glad that you did this with me today. Thank you.
Always great to chat. If someone wants to learn more, we've got on our YouTube channel is How We Grow a Brand, HOWIE, Grow a Brand. And we've got over 50 some episodes that really speak to entrepreneurs, business leaders, marketing, branding, life, breath. It's all there.
And we will be linking to it in the show notes, so everybody will know where to find it.
Awesome. Great. Allison.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Raising the Bar is powered by Altiqe Consulting, the country's leading independent expert in healthcare cost containment. Astute employers know there's a better way to offer health insurance, and we help them achieve it.